It's time for Takes on Takes. You know the drill. You give us the takes. We give you the take on your take today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'd like to thank you for making Locked On NFL Scouting your first listen every day, and a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks, the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use our code LockedOnNFL. That'll get you a first deposit match up to $100.
Joe, I would like to start with a tattle take.
All righty.
As we do takes on takes, which you have coined in the intro. You provide the take. We provide the take on your take. Tattle takes, if you're relatively new to the program, is presenting a take that somebody had that was not intended for us, but nevertheless, we will still provide our take. And this comes from the same brilliant mind who suggested that Aaron Donald was not good at run defense.
Oh, no. I know what you're going to do.
Random thought. Outlaw cleats, or perhaps just modify them. How many knee, ankle, and Achilles injuries happen because a foot can't give way from the turf that it otherwise would without cleats? From Brian Burke of ESPN.
Flintstones. Meet the Flintstones.
What are we talking about? Get rid of cleats? Have you ever tried to run full speed?
Yes.
With sneakers on?
Yes. Be better off being barefoot out there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, I just found out Tyreek Hill just got fined $7,000 for not wearing socks on the first play of the game against the Broncos. So you can't go out there barefoot. Every player's going to get fined $7,000.
I'm pretty sure Steph Diggs gets fined every week for that. I couldn't remember the last time he's worn the regular team socks in a game. So
this man said outlaw cleats.
Put it in writing. I think he was serious.
Where it will live forever. It will live forever.
Yeah, it's bad. Said that to pretty much everyone I know this morning. So,
how many injuries do you think are going to happen because we're slipping and sliding like a slip and slide, trying to run full speed? What better way to make the NFL game better than to reduce the speed of the game by approximately 70%?
It's not. It's not a defendable position to have. It's not.
Unserious opinion.
Just play it on hardwood with basketball shoes on. That'll be better.
Right. Yeah. How many more injuries happen because we're playing tackle football on hardwood, though?
Well, at least we won't have ankles and knees, you know?
All of this because, Khalil Herbert had his toe freak injury get caught in the...
Make a better pass, Justin Fields.
Correct.
I mean, the guy had a great night, obviously, but that was...
He did.
That was a moment, So,
administrative note. NFL Scouting Against the Spread correctly picked the Bears to cover +6. You and I picked the Commanders to win, but the news of Dick Butkus's passing came out about, an hour before the game?
Yeah, a couple hours, yeah.
They were never going to lose the game in which they were playing in honor of Dick Butkus.
That's a good point. DJ Moore, out of his mind. Emmanuel Forbes, 166 pounds of him, didn't want to tackle a soul last night.
Friendly reminder that Emmanuel Forbes got drafted in front of Christian Gonzalez.
Oh, my God. I've never thought of that.
Yeah. Really makes you wonder. There was not a...
Wow. I didn't even think of that.
Threw away the key.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I don't know how Christian Gonzalez is a top 10 player in this draft. I don't want to tell you. Okay. Shall we?
Always has been.
Shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. Now that I've hijacked the first 4 minutes, losing my mind over this you know what for brains comment. I'm ready.
TK Kelly says this: all Thursday games except opening night should be interconference instead of intra-conference. Thusly, the winners do not receive any tie-breaking benefits when postseason seeds are decided.
I'm a big fan of this. Just hearing it for the first time. You've seen the takes. I have not.
I've seen them, yeah.
I'm a fan of this idea. If you're going to play a Thursday game, mitigating the leverage of that game to counteract such a dramatic short week home field advantage situation,
yeah,
I think is really good.
I maintain my proposal for Thursday Night Football is very simple. You're not allowed to play Thursday Night Football unless it's coming off of a bye. And the way that you do this is every team gets 2 bye weeks, and you don't have Thursday Night Football weeks 2, 3, and 4. That's it. That's the whole fix. Then you get another mini bye after Thursday Night Football. I don't know how this is a difficult process. So I like this if we're not going to consider the proposal I've had out on the table for a million years.
Sure.
Moonbeam Man says the current division leaders, as of right now, before week 5, besides the AFC South, will win their division. Kyle, do these division leaders hold serve?
Okay.
Right?
So let me tap into our favorite website on the face of the planet, playoffpredictors.com, because they have all the tiebreakers in there. The Philadelphia Eagles in first place in the NFC East.
Probably. I'm not ruling out Dallas. I mean, we talked about Philly. They've played 3 close games.
Yep.
To Washington, Arizona, and Minnesota.
Yep.
Those aren't good teams.
Yep. They have not played their best football. There's a lot of teams that haven't played their best football.
I agree.
So who are the teams that are able to string it together in the midst of player injuries or getting players back and or scheme changes?
Yeah.
So San Francisco.
Yeah, I think they win it.
Yes. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Probably. I'm not declaring that right now.
Take a look at this schedule. So they're on a bye. And they're home the next 2 weeks against Detroit and Atlanta. Then Buffalo on a short week. That stinks. At Houston. Home against Tennessee. At San Francisco. At Indianapolis. Carolina. Atlanta. Green Bay. Jacksonville. New Orleans. Carolina.
A lot of should-win games, right? A lot of should-win games.
The way that they've been playing, yes.
But do you think they're just going to go out there and just handle all their business? I don't know if I'm ready to say that.
No. Do I have the least amount of questions right now about Tampa Bay? Which I never thought in a million years I would say.
Right.
Probably.
Right.
Detroit in the NFC North.
I like it.
Yes. The Kansas City Chiefs.
I like it.
Yes. The Baltimore Ravens, 3-1.
Probably.
The Buffalo Bills, probably. We picked that in the preseason.
Miami's going to have a lot to say about that.
Well, you're not going to win the division unless you can beat the team that you got to beat.
Got a chance to do it.
Who's they said except the AFC South.
Yeah. So who's leading that right now?
Technically the Colts. The Colts, Texans, and Jaguars are all 2-2 and 1-1 in the division.
Yeah, because Jaguars lost to the Texans. Texans beat the Colts? Who won that game? Did they play?
The Colts beat the Texans.
Yeah, see, you got jumbled up mess there. And the Jaguars beat the Colts in week 1.
Correct.
So
like 31-10 or whatever.
I think there's so much to sort out. I could see 2 or 3 of them not winning.
The rank is currently determined by strength of victory through those 3 teams. So, yeah, it's a lot to figure out there.
So big maybe burger here is the answer. John says the Houston Texans will finish the season with a better record than the New York Jets. They're already 1 up, right? They're 2-2.
They
Jets
are 2-2.
1-3.
So they're 2-2 in Houston. The next 4. Here's the next 6 games for Houston. You ready?
Yeah.
At Atlanta. Reasonable chance to win.
Yep.
Home against New Orleans. Reasonable chance to win. At Carolina. They'll win that one. Home against Tampa, at Cincinnati, and then home against Arizona.
We know what the Jets schedule is because we have the same opponents.
Right.
Except for they got to play the Bills and the Dolphins.
And the Texans get Tennessee twice, Denver, they play the Jets, Arizona, Carolina.
Sounds like we're in on the take.
I'm probably in on the take.
Yeah, me too. All right, lots of good takes left. We'll see if we're in on them or not. But first, we need to tell you about Bird Dogs, folks. These shorts, these joggers are awesome. The best in the business. Love their way they're designed. They got that stretch khaki material that is designed to fit slimmer through your thigh, give you a sculpted look. They fit so much better than regular shorts that are made of stiff, restricting cotton. I love the versatility of the Bird Dogs. You can wear them casually around the house, to the gym, to the golf course, date night. They look so good, and they have this cloud knit fabric that they invented that looks just like khaki, but it stretches to give you that slimmer fit. You don't have to sacrifice movement. They are awesome, and we got a deal for you. If you go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNFL and enter promo code LockedOnNFL, you get one of these free Bird Dogs water bottle. It's an awesome water bottle. Got a handle, keeps the water good and cold all day long. So check it out again. birddogs.com/LockedOnNFL. Use Pro Lockdown NFL. That'll get you a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you.
Also used my Bird Dogs for my Dolphins apparel shoot that I did.
Some people will see that soon. I got a little sneak peek.
Yeah. The blue joggers are the way to go.
Blue. I got a pair as well.
They got like fun brand name, like the names of the clothes are fun too.
Yes, they do.
I
Go to birddogs.com and find that out for yourself.
Yeah, we
actually not allowed to say any of it. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. You got more takes for us, Joe? Go ahead.
Sure do. Benjamin with some spice here. He says Jared Goff is doing for the Lions what Alex Smith did for the Chiefs, but just like Smith, it is time for Detroit to make a move for a quarterback in the 24 class because it's their only hope of going from playoff team to Super Bowl contender.
Didn't Jared Goff play in a Super Bowl?
He did.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
So the question is, can Detroit go to the Super Bowl with Jared Goff as their quarterback?
I don't know. Do they have the passing game weapons and the offensive line and the defense? They're playing like it right now. I get it. At the end of the day, you're going to get into the postseason. You're going to play a game where a quarterback's going to have to create plays for himself and make the defense wrong when the call is right. The vast majority of the time, if you don't have that element at quarterback, it's going to put a glass ceiling on your ability and your pathways to victory to win enough games to play in a Super Bowl.
So what teams in the NFC have that?
Jalen Hurts. If we're going to be intellectually honest about the NFC conference, Jalen Hurts, case in point, just played in the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
I would say Dak, no. Certainly not Sam Howell. We were told just how over the moon he's commanding.
He was fun in the second half of that game, man. He was fun. He gets sacked all the time.
Everything's late.
Yeah.
Everything's late.
I don't think EB's doing enough to help him.
Because EB's calling the game the way he wants to call a game, and that's fine.
Right.
And you're getting an evaluation opportunity to see if he gets better, so I'm okay with it.
But
put some training wheels on for this young man.
But
if I don't think you should be all the way invested in Sam Howell with what he was as a 5th round pick. So correct. I would rather treat it the way he is treating him and say, look, this season's going to
he's throwing him in the deep end, man. Completely in the deep end.
Right. And you're either going to figure it out or you're not. And if you're not, then I'm not married to you. I wasn't here when we drafted you. And I know he's the offensive coordinator, but we'll see. He might end up getting that head coaching job in-house.
Kirk Cousins, Brock Purdy, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Derek Carr.
So I watched the Giants. So we play the Giants on Sunday. Daniel Jones, I don't know what happened, but all of the good of year one is gone. There are brutal turndowns all over the tape. Tunnel vision, see and go, Sam Darnold style, bailing on clean pockets.
Old Brian Dable doesn't look like he's having too much fun right now.
No, he doesn't.
You see that thread somebody put out there of Mad Brian Dable?
Yes.
Incredible. Jeez, man.
I mean, it's Daniel. I would argue Daniel Jones has looked worse thus far through the first 4 games of the season than at any point that he did before Brian Dable got there. Stunning regression. So I say that to say, no, he doesn't have the playmaker gene. So I think you have one quarterback in the NFC that is that way. So if that's the case, it's not as much of a limiting factor as it is on the AFC side of things, where you have Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and Trevor Lawrence. And you've seen Tua show some signs of being able to get outside of structure and have net positive plays. I still don't think Aaron Rodgers when he's healthy. Who am I forgetting? I'm sure I'm forgetting at least one.
Well, who knows? Richardson and Stroud
Watson ever manifest himself into what he was before? Anthony Richardson, it's a totally different ballgame.
Yeah.
So you got your high floor quarterbacks on the NFC side of thing, and you got these freaks of nature on the AFC side of things.
Mike says teams should prioritize paying offensive linemen before defensive linemen and makes this very specific. For example, Miami should prioritize extensions for Connor Williams and Robert Hunt before paying Christian Wilkins. And then he has a bonus food take. Buffalo Wild Wings is bad, and you should always look for other wing spots.
My wife used to work at Buffalo Wild Wings. We haven't eaten there since.
Okay. I think that's loud and clear. Well, I couldn't tell you the last time I went there.
She didn't work there when we met. It was like her undergrad of college. And I met her when she was in her grad program. So, but she's like, oh, B-dubs, you want to go? No, absolutely not.
Wait, so she wants to go as the
former? No.
Okay.
I'm like, I'll see one of them be like, oh yeah, the old spot, you want to go? And she'll be like, no, absolutely.
Oh, okay. All right. So you're asking her tongue in cheek, sarcastically. Got it.
You know where I would love for my wife to take me for dinner one time? Just one time. She won't even take me on my birthday. Red Lobster.
I knew that would be the answer.
Yeah.
Kyle's an unapologetic Red Lobster and Arby's. Those are Kyle's spots, man.
I won't apologize. It's nowhere near as bad of a take as banning cleats in football. Okay.
No, it's preferential. It's food. That's one thing about food. It's preferential. There's no right or wrong. But okay, so
what was the first part of this take?
Should teams pay offensive linemen before defensive linemen? It brings up the Dolphins. Says prioritize Williams and Hunt before Wilkins. You could probably get Williams and Hunt for the same cost as Wilkins. So there's that piece of the conversation as well.
We'll see how Christian looks the rest of the way.
Well, okay, dude. If he said no to what he said no to, and
I said no to $21 million.
You figure what? Connor Williams is mid-teens and Hunt's probably 12, 13.
What's really funny is Dolphins fans were so fed up with Connor Williams because he had 2 high snaps a game, and then they played a game without him and watched what Liam Eichenberg looked at.
Appreciation game.
And they said, oh, yeah, I hope Connor's back for the next game. I think Connor, I would guess you get Connor done for top 5 money at the position, which is like $11.5 million. If you don't let Robert Hunt hit the open market, you can probably get it done for less than what Ben Powers got.
I think so. 12, 13, 11, something like that.
Who just signed an extension on the interior? And I was like, man, it's a really good deal for Miami's hopes for Robert Hunt.
I know what you're talking about, but I couldn't pull it off.
It literally just happened, right?
I know. It was out of nowhere. I know what you're talking about. I couldn't pull it off.
I'll float around and produce this thing. I generally agree with the concept of the tape because quality offensive linemen are more scarce, I think.
Yeah, and the costs of the defensive linemen are getting insane, right? I mean, the top pass rushers are over 25 on the edge. We're talking about Christian Wilkins is 20+ million, and the pass rushing productivity hasn't been there. Like, I get it. I see where you're going with this. If all things are equal, you probably prioritize the offensive linemen just due to the difficulty of finding them. Hopefully Kyle has discovered.
I'm sitting here scrolling through.
Shaq Mason trade's looking pretty good for Texans right now.
And that contract still sits at that's 3 for $36.
It's a good deal.
Was the new deal that he got.
It's a good deal.
Not
looking good for this. I'll tell you what. Let's talk about Prize Picks. We'll come back. We got a bunch of great takes to finish out with. So check out Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the funnest, most exciting, easiest way to play daily fantasy sports. The format is awesome. It's only you versus the numbers. It's not you versus thousands of other players, including pros and sharks. All you do is select 2 or more players. You pick more or less on their projected stats. You place your entry. That's it. Doesn't take long. You can make a pick in under a minute, and then when you win, the withdrawals are very quick and very easy. I love watching sports. I love them even more when I have a Prize Picks entry going into a slate of games because it just makes watching them that much more exciting. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's prizepicks.com/LockedOnNFL. Use code LockedOnNFL for a first deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.
It was Eric McCoy, right? No, because they just signed. He signed in 2022.
Is it Cesar Ruiz? That's who it is. It's Cesar Ruiz.
Yeah. It's Cesar Ruiz who signed 4 for $44.
Yeah.
Which is the 40 from a value perspective is in the 40s for NFL offensive line contracts. That's great news for if you hope to retain a non-Pro Bowl recognized quality starter in the interior.
All right. Shall we? Got a bunch more I'd love to get to.
Go.
The next one here comes from Dim. Dim says, when it's all said and done, Justin Herbert will have a similar career to Phillip Rivers. No Super Bowls, no MVPs.
Yeah. Why not?
I'm interested to see what that looks like without Brandon Staley, but I get nervous about the whole, like, you're always going to be a wild card team. You're always going to have to play road playoff games. It seems like we already talked about the caliber of quarterbacks that he'll have to go on the road and beat in the playoffs is going to be just tough. So,
okay, hold on.
I think he's capable, but I don't know. You wish Justin Herbert was born at a different time.
So this is fun, and I think this stat has come up in the last year of us doing this show. Phillip Rivers was the starting quarterback of the Chargers from 2006 to 2019. How many seasons did he have with more than 11 wins as the starting quarterback?
From 2006 to how many years is that? 14 years? 15 years?
Let's call it 14 because he didn't start his first 2 seasons.
So how many times in 14 years did the Chargers win more? 11 or more?
More than 11 games.
I don't know, I guess 4 or 5.
Okay, so we did 2018, we went 12-4. 2009, we went 13-3. In 2006, our first year as a starter, we went 14-2. So, I don't know, from 06 to... I would just want to see how many times they won the division because I think you make a really interesting point of always being a wild card team, right? Like how many times was Phillip Rivers not a wild card team? He had the Schottenheimer year in 06 when they went 14-2. They lost in the divisional round their first playoff game. They didn't even win a playoff game, and Marty got fired.
Mm-hmm.
They won the division in 07 with Nord Turner and lost in the conference championship game. That was the year they lost to the Patriots, right? And Phil played on the torn ACL.
That sounds right.
Yes, they played against the Patriots and had 300 yards of offense and lost 21-12 at New England with Phil playing hurt. Okay, Phil plays torn ACL. Not much you can do there. They won the division at 8-8 and 08. They won the division in 09, and they did not win the division again for the rest of the time that Phillip Rivers was starting quarterback. So his first 4 years, they won the division and then never won it again. So from Justin Herbert's perspective, Pat's going to be there the whole time, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have the same level of concerns about the Bills with Josh Allen. You know what I mean? Like, candidly.
Shut up.
But realistically, because Mahomes exists. Like, it's just like with Rivers. Unfortunately, he happened to play at the same time as Tom Brady, Ben Roethlisberger, and Peyton Manning.
Right. So Pat Mahomes is one guy.
Right.
On the pecking order, you got one guy in that stratosphere of like the roadblocks. Right? AFC's highly competitive. Joe Burrow's been a pain in the butt. I think that team's going to go through some personnel transition. Do we really think they're going to make it work and keep T. Higgins?
I'm not optimistic about a lot with the Bengals.
The offensive line, in spite of all the investment, I know Cordell Volson hasn't played great this year. Alec Cap hasn't played great this year. Well, Collins was a personnel move that you've already moved on from.
The
Like
Jesse
Brown
Bates
hasn't looked great, and you just paid him $16.5 million a year.
Not bringing back Jesse Bates is looking like a mistake as well. That guy's been probably the biggest impact free agent signing yet.
But that's the decision is we got our guys we're going to keep, and we're not going to keep other guys as a result. Can't pay everybody, right? And they tried to get ahead of it with Dax Hill, and Dax Hill I don't think has been the problem. But Bates has been a huge impact player. So, I don't know. We just went down like 4 different rabbit holes.
Yeah.
But I would say statistically speaking, or probabilities speaking, it's probably a pretty good take.
Magic Muffin says the Houston Texans should make their battle red alternates their primary uniform.
Yes.
I'm all in on that. Those look so good. Looks so good. If Cincinnati loses this weekend, they'll finish under 500. So they lose to Arizona, they fall to 1-4. I think it's a huge
Didn't I give that take already this week?
Yeah.
They won't get back above 500 because they go 2 reasonably winnable games and then they have like 2 really hard games after that.
Yeah. Moose says Detroit style pizza is hands down the best, followed by New York, Connecticut, then Chicago. I have no idea what Connecticut style pizza is. Do you?
No, but we're gonna find out.
Yeah, let's find that out. I like Detroit style pizza.
I'm guessing Detroit is the pan pizza. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's like got that the Jets
cupped pepperoni.
That's Buffalo's. Buffalo's got the cup and char pepperoni, but Detroit has like the bigger flat pepperoni, but it's a deeper dish, and they like prioritize in like corner pieces.
Yeah,
and like it's they almost like the crust is like crispy.
Detroit
I'm a big fan of it.
It's a rectangular pan pizza with a thick, crisp, chewy crust.
Yeah,
traditionally topped to the edges with mozzarella and or Wisconsin brick cheese.
Yep, big fan of it.
Okay, so now we needed Connecticut style pizza.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is. We know what New York is. That's hit or miss for me. Then Chicago.
New Haven style pizza is a style of thin crust, coal-fired Neapolitan pizza common and around the New Haven, Connecticut area.
Pass. I'm going to tell you a take on these wood brick oven pizzas.
And you're going to throw shade at Dan Marino here.
Anthony's
coal-fired pizza.
I don't know what it is. The problem is threading the needle for cooking it correctly is difficult because if it is burnt at all, it's disgusting. I'm not sitting here trying to eat like your burnt crust on this thin pizza. Like I love it when it's on, but too often it's off and it's bubbly and weird. So
what's your take on white pizza?
Gross.
Really?
Just a big onion fest.
No, doesn't have to be.
Well, every white pizza I've ever seen is a big onion fest. So
delicious pizza drizzled in olive oil, garlic, and white cheeses.
My dad made this all the time, and there was onions on it. It's all I knew was onions, and I think
your dad chose to put onions on. If your dad liked onions, how did you fall so far off?
My mom and my dad like onions.
Okay, so what happened?
I ate one, and they're disgusting.
Okay, go ahead. I know we got more takes.
Man, there's so many.
Rapid fire.
Real quick. Okay, Bub, would you rather go 15-2 and lose your first playoff game in the divisional round, or go 8-9, make the playoffs, and win one playoff game?
15-2, and I don't know. I'd look back on that season much more memorably to go 15-2.
Yeah, I agree.
As compared to we won in the wild card round. Like, okay.
Yeah, I agree. I'd agree with that. Football Maniac says CMC has 2,500 total yards and 20 touchdowns, but settles for Opoi because MVP is a quarterback award.
Okay, so I think that's a reasonable stance to take.
Yeah, I agree with that. By the beginning of 2025, all three of Bryce Young, Scott Fitterer, and Frank Reich will be out of their current positions on the Panthers. I don't think so.
That feels like too quick of a turnaround, but I like the spirit of the take.
Yeah, Bryce will be there. Here's the last one. Weekly huddle. The Falcons need to make Quinn Ewers their 2024 starting quarterback. You like that?
Quinn's found some juice with dropping the weight this offseason.
You know, you're a little bit concerned about that to start, but
yeah, I don't want you to be 205.
No, I don't either.
But so he's used his legs. I think what makes Quinn good though is the passing ability. They'll have options. They should draft a quarterback early.
I think that's the thing with Atlanta, right? Is everything looks pretty good. Stick with it. You just got to find a quarterback.
Yeah.
And the right one. Don't get like Ryan Tannehill. Like that's
right.
my biggest fear.
Don't discount 6th round draft pick for Ryan Tannehill and eat salary.
Don't do that.
That is going to do it for us on Takes on Takes. I'm Kyle Crabbs. He is Joe Marino. We are locked on NFL scouting with the Draft Dudes. We hope you enjoyed this week of programming on the show. We're out of here. Enjoy week 5 of the NFL season. Enjoy week 6 of the college football season. And we will be back on Monday to talk about everything that goes down.